Hello, everyone. So I'm sort of upset right now, and I'm trying to vent. I've been venting since to myself, but I'm like, you know what? Let me share this. So I watched about say 90% of Secrets of the Three Kingdoms, a Chinese drama, historical drama based on true historical events. Maybe that's what makes it very upsetting. Of opposite of all the emperors that we know about. Mostly, when you hear the word emperor, what comes to your heart is somebody that would do anything, kill anybody, and to establish their reign, right? If you're familiar with watching a lot of historical royal drama that is connected to the palace and everything, you see that there is a lot of conspiracy, even from the king. There is that popular saying that if you excel as a person, if you do the king's work or the emperor's work a little too well, you will be removed, you'll be killed because then you are seen as a threat to the throne. And a lot of people have been, everyone who has watched it has thought, wow, like the emperors of those days were just mean and wicked. And it's true. Now we now see a direct opposite of that. This one doesn't want anyone killed. Okay. So how he got to power, you may just have to go and check that one out. He doesn't want anyone killed, which is a good thing in itself. The bad thing about it is that every time he tries to protect the enemy, he tries to not harm good people. It is the good people that end up dying, and the bad people end up escaping all the time. He expects everybody to just, allow themselves to be bullied just like he is. Like, there's, have you ever heard? The talk in town is always that the emperor is trying to suppress some families. But in his case, it is one family that is suppressing him. Like this man holds all the military power. How does that even happen? He holds all the military power and he has practically imprisoned. If he does not approve of it, the emperor cannot do anything. He can arrest anybody in the presence of the emperor, and the emperor will not be able to stop him. Now, the emperor could have been able to stop him, but unfortunately, he kept getting in the way of those who want to. And in the process of getting in their way, he ends up getting those ones killed. So you now have a situation where I look at this man and what I'm thinking is that he's a masochist and he wants everybody under the guise of being good. He might not even know it, but he's a masochist. Like he has no problem being bullied, being suppressed. He will rather like protect those who are suppressing him. Like anytime he hears that there is an attempt to remove them, he rises. That is when he becomes very active. You understand? That is when he becomes very, very active. But every time these same people he's protecting, because it seems like he's protecting his oppressor. And not just his oppressor, everybody's oppressor. Now, he's not the only one sitting on the throne here. There are people who brought him to the throne. And half of them had already died because the plan was somehow sabotaged. Although, frankly speaking, at the beginning of it all, though, they went according to plan, but a lot of people died. So I understand why he stepped in. So at the end of the day, if you look at the story from the beginning, like they had a plan on how to remove. Oh yeah, I remember how that happened. Uh Yeah. I remember how that happened. And that's always the problem. You always have one person who is the weak link. And at first, it was not the emperor that was the weak link, but later he became, the undoing of everybody who wanted the Han Dynasty. That was the dynasty that at the time, the Han Dynasty, the Han imperial family, to rise up again and to become more powerful again as they used to regain the military power they had. So he already had the goodwill of the people. But there was a secret. You have to watch that story to know what the secret was, that would actually illegitimize his reign. It should not, but it is all the oppressor needs to hold on to gain the throne. Because at the end of the day, when you hold the military power, you're holding the emperor hostage. What you want is the throne, and then you now make this ridiculous statements. Like, that's just the crazy thing. These people who are doing the wrong thing, they've convinced themselves that they are doing the right thing. And what makes the whole situation frustrating is that the emperor is not of the same mind with the people he's defending. In other words, they think it is right for them to suppress his family, the imperial family. But he doesn't seem to want to get out of that. Is that he's trying to collaborate with the enemy. I don't understand. And everyone who is for the Han Dynasty were like, there is no collaborating with these people. They need to be removed. They need to be uprooted and vanquished. Like, because that is what they intend for this. And he's seen how they acted. So I understand that at first he allowed them to, he wanted to be the puppet that they wanted him to be. Not puppet really, but someone that will not interfere with their plans. He's just there to be if you go ahead. And at first I thought, this is wrong, because I was also seeing like innocent people were dying. But then again, the problem with that one was one of them was was just he was there for his own personal interests. He was not there to defend the dynasty. And so every time he sees that they might lose, no, he was playing both sides. He was getting information from the supporters of the imperial family, and he sold that information to the, what is it called now? He sold it to the oppressor. And that's how their attempt to take back power at the time they did fell through. It fell through in such a way that a lot of loyal people died. And it was a monumental waste. Like a monumental waste. Like, I just cringed just remembering those first 10 episodes. It was horrible. And he was like, from today, I'm not going to allow you to be my, I'm going to do things my way and all of that. And we thought, well, that's nice, like, take charge. And he did, and he's not doing any differently. Yeah, and he did, and people still ended up dying anyway. And they told him, like, look, this is evidence to you that people will still die anyway. Of course, then they needed to weed out the traitor among them, which obviously they couldn't do. So I think somehow he had a liking, and I think I know why. When he was living in their ministry, in their house, they entertained him well, they treated him nicely and all of that. And then the oppressor was at war with another oppressor, like they were vying for the same thing. So only one person can have it. They were both vying for ultimate power in the empire. And so they were not the imperial family. So they were fighting each other. So whoever the king supports, which I should have thought maybe he would not, he should have just stayed out of that war and let them dwindle each other out, but he decided to interfere. He wanted to see And then what he did was, without even meeting the oppressor himself, he went to the other side of the oppressor, and that one was just arrogant as heck. He was mistreated there, imprisoned, and so on and so forth. Like, things just happened. And he felt that, you know what, this person is too arrogant. He would suppress the imperial family, and so we have to, like, decamp. We have to help the main oppressor, right? Which was a mistake, because his empress was like, no matter how bad this guy is, the person you are trying to help is even worse. And it's true. It's true, because he never met him. That guy was ungrateful. Like, it's like in his DNA to be ungrateful. Like, it was in his blood to be ungrateful. His name was Chow Chow. It seems it was in his blood to be ungrateful. Like, the king, every attempt to wipe out his family, the emperor had been standing in the way. He had put his life on the line to protect that family. One was at the verge of death. Like, he could have just stood there and let that guy bleed himself out. I actually wish he did, honestly. Of course, at that point too, I thought, please save him, and all of that. And you know, he did save him. But see, that's the thing. The person he saved became his worst enemy. Like, he kept putting up the smiley face of, we are brothers, we've gone through. Like, he knew how to manipulate human emotions. He manipulated human emotions. He manipulated other people's experiences and personalities to get the other people vulnerable and get what he wanted. So I don't even know who is worse, his father or him. I think him, because he wanted to be the emperor, and he sort of undermined his siblings. He manipulated his siblings. He began to look for things he hunted for his life, really. He went for the emperor's life, the emperor that saved his life. Like, just give it 5 minutes, he will have bled to death, right? He was struggling for his life because he was caught in a very delicate place. And so he was struggling for life and all of that. And this guy used his medical skills to heal him. And that exposed him in a way, but he didn't mind. It was like a life had to be saved first, and it was like, we live in their house, we cannot just watch. And the empress was like, why is this guy always working contrary to plan? And so here is the thing. He doesn't want people getting killed, but if people still got killed, and unfortunately they were the good people, they were the good ones, they were willing, they were not, a lot of them were not loyal to anybody, but they were loyal to the people that he claimed that he was for. But he was allowing the oppressor to just take them out. And every time somebody wants to go for revenge, like, it is this person's fault that this thing happened, he made this happen. Like, in one day, 4 good people went down in one day. And the mastermind was the man he kept protecting and speaking up for. And so it's like he moved from protecting the people to protecting the oppressor. And he kept thinking about, he was more focused on abdicating the throne. Like, he was desperate to leave the throne. He felt confined in it, right? And so because he felt confined in it, he was just looking for anywhere to dump that responsibility on. And he felt, of course, that the person who is vying for it the most and was willing to do anything to get there should be the one he should give it to, which wasted the effort and the blood that has been shed to protect that family. Like, he kept stopping everybody who wanted to save the imperial family from saving the imperial family, in the name of, no, I can't hurt innocent people. And they were like, these people, they are not innocent. They are not innocent at all, but he kept sabotaging their plans into their innocent, you can't harm them, blah, blah, blah. And so he moved from protecting the people to protecting the oppressor. And while he was protecting the oppressor, he ended up um he ended up getting those who were loyal to the throne in harm's way. And so here is the thing, it's like when you make plans with somebody and they have their own plans. They didn't tell you that, oh, I'm not no longer on your team, oh, so you're on your own. Like if you had told them that he was no longer interested in upholding the name of that dynasty, they would have found a way to do it themselves, but he agreed that yes, 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 yes. He didn't say anything that he didn't have faith in holding up that what he was there to protect. He was there to protect both the people and the imperial family. But instead, he handed over the people and the imperial family to the oppressor. Like, it doesn't get any more frustrating than that. Now, if he had just handed it over and didn't get the good people killed, it would have been nice. So a lot of good people went down. And usually that's what you see in Chinese soap operas, where a lot of good people get killed because the evil people killed them. The difference with this one was that unknowingly, the good guy, the so-called good guy, helped the bad guy to get away every time he harms the good people. So the good people went down without any retribution. No justice was served, no justice was served. And I found that so frustrating. I'm telling you, like, I found out so frustrating. And what I found more frustrating was that the people who were supposed to make decisions without him just couldn't say no to him. Like, they just felt the need to always tell him or tell somebody who would tell him. And then when he gets there sabotaging the plans, I mean, this is somebody they should have just grabbed and imprisoned or something. I don't know. Lock him down, since it seems to like that a lot. Like, I don't know. Maybe you should have people that don't want the throne to lock you down, rather than have those who want the throne to keep you on a lockdown. It's like you like being locked down in the palace and decisions being made for you and people being picked off around you, all your support system being picked out around you. Well, then maybe your support system should lock you there, but they could not. And I'm like, honestly, I don't want to say if I were them. I hope I never have to meet someone like that, honestly, because that would be a total disaster. Because people like that who exhibits the character of a masochist, who, I think the good people are the ones you have to look out for, not the bad people. At least the bad people are bad. Oh yeah, the good people and the ones that pretend to be good but are backstabbing everybody. Like backstabbing everybody, manipulating everybody, manipulating those that can be manipulated, using people's emotions mostly. So it's like this guy handed over the kingdom to a manipulator. Although, frankly speaking, that guy didn't last there for 7 years. He only spent 7 years on the throne, even as a young man. Apparently, he died at the age of 39. So maybe he ascended the throne, do the math. He was there for 7 years. So after all the scheming and everything, he only spent 7 years there. Although I think he had a son, but with proper guidance from the right person, at least one of them was still alive, thankfully. So one of the good ones, it was able to guide this man, this young boy, and help him. And that was something that, if the emperor that chose to abdicate to the oppressor, if he had just stayed and just endured it a little more, you understand, he could have still abdicated the throne, but at least have a child, have a child, nurture the child, let the child grow a little bit, then you can now, become name your child the regent, right? Name your child the regent for the Han family. You owe them that much. Name that child as regent, and then have your, God, your brother, who he wanted, to be quite fair though, in his own defense, which is kind of rare, he wanted his god brother to take his place, but that one was like, I'm not interested in this confinement you call throne. He wanted to, and I would have approved of, because that guy was a good guy, but he wasn't. He's like, if you come at me, I'm coming at you. Okay, like, unless you are minding your business, doing your own thing where you are at, I'm not going to disturb you when you are doing your own thing where you're at. I'm not interested in you bowing to me, but don't just come for me and try to attack me. That is where you're going to see the side of me that you don't like, So he was a strategist. He was a good guy, I mean, he was very protective of his god brother, but who became the emperor. But it's well, I don't want the throne. I'm not interested in the throne. So I guess he was just looking for somebody to dump the throne to, so that he can, run off to the sunset with the empress, who, well, found herself falling in love with him. Assuming she didn't fall in love with him though, she will have, I don't know what she will have done, but I guess it's somehow refreshing when you see someone trying to do good, but he didn't have a plan. He wasn't futuristic about, like, he didn't look at all, he didn't have plans. So it's only when an attack comes, when they are telling him an attack is coming, he's like, I will find something to do. But is when that thing now happens, you now realize he didn't have a plan. He's just going to think about what to do at that moment. Whereas somebody is dying somewhere because he didn't have a plan. He refused to have a plan. He refused to establish a plan to protect the good people that he said he wanted to protect. And eventually he, like I said, he abdicated the throne for his worst enemy. Although I understood why he did, but then he would not have gotten to that point if he had allowed the edict, the edict that brought him in power, if he had allowed it to play out, you get, or at least come up with a better solution that will protect both the Han dynasty and the people. Like, that was what he was there to do, protect it. So in other words, if you're not so keen on the throne, I get that, I understand that. It's not uneasy does lie the head that wears the crown. We get it. But at least make a child, like, and then there was the issue of where, the secrets. You have to, if I tell more, you would know what the secret is. So you have to go and watch it to know what the secret was. A secret that was used to blackmail him, by the way. So I think, although I don't think, and that's the thing about secrets. That secret is such that it's not that scandalous. In fact, it's not scandalous. The reason it's scandalous is because it was kept a secret, right? If they had been open about it, and that's the thing about secrets that I want us to learn. Try not to have secrets, okay? Whatever it is you don't want coming out, don't do it. You get? That's one. Two, if you do it, what you should do is be the first to say it. Secrets are like weapons. The keeper, the owner of the secret, is vulnerable as long as it remains a secret. That's the owner of the secret. As long as it remains a secret, the owner of that secret is vulnerable, is weak because of that secret. So the secret is like a weapon where it is pointed at the owner of the secret. Now, instead of remaining vulnerable, because secrets always come out. Someone said if there is no secret, there will be no scandal. Like, secrets do have a way of coming out. Why not take the lead in bringing that secret out. Why not? It's going to come out anyway. And its secrets have a bad habit of being found by the wrong people that will now use it to destroy. They will use it to their advantage. That is why I said the secret is a weapon, because it can be, if it falls into the wrong hands, it becomes their ultimate weapon against the owner, and they use it to achieve their goals, which was what happened in this story. That secret made everybody vulnerable, and they were doing everything to cover it. And that was even what made them even more vulnerable, the fact that they were covering it. If they had, taken the initiative, and that is the thing, when you take the initiative, and the sooner the better, don't postpone it. The sooner the better. If they are taking the initiative to tell their own story, when you tell your own story, no matter how bad it is, it's always better than when someone else tells your story. When you tell your story, at that point, it ceases to be a secret, it's now your story. And when you tell it, you're honest about the emotions, everything. You explain yourself to everybody. Like, you make sure you tell everybody at the same time. Maybe you I don't know, call an emergency meeting. Don't wait for an opportune time. No, call an emergency meeting of the people, right? Call an emergency meeting of the people, and tell them the secrets at the same time. Tell them the secret. Okay? Or tell the people and let the people spread the news. Tell the people and let the people spread the news. So, when you now tell the people, you now let the people decide what they want. Now, if the people insist that you need to abdicate the throne because of that secret, then at least you understand it's the choice of the people and you can live with dignity, right? But chances are, when you are honest, and that's the thing, when you are honest, you tend to have more support than when you are keeping it a secret. Because when other people tell your story, they will manipulate the story and make it sound like a scandal. Honestly, I really don't see the scandal in it. It is all I can say. I don't see the scandal in that secret. Yeah, it's a little odd, but I don't see the scandal in it. Especially if everybody else has their own secrets. Especially those who were like, this is just abominable. Duh. They had their own secret that was worse than that. But no, let's not talk. Usually it is people that have the most horrible secrets that are the most judgmental about other people's secrets. The imperial family was vulnerable as it were. That secret just made them more vulnerable and it made them weaker. And they did not understand that secret, if they had told it and exposed it themselves, it would have gained them power from the people. The people will have fought themselves, like, not fought themselves like fight among themselves, no, but will have rescued the imperial family from the oppressor, because then they'll be like, oh, this is what had to happen for these people to survive. Like, it is an insult to all of us. Like, we all have our own issues. Why should they be persecuted for this? When you tell your own story, it is more, people would sympathize with you. That's just the truth. So that's just what I learned from this, apart from a lot of things. Like, tell your own story. Be the first and stop postponing it. Tell your story. Tell your story. Don't postpone it. Don't postpone it. Tell your story. Because if you don't tell your story, somebody else will make a scandal out of it and they will use it against you. because the way they would tell it, it wouldn't matter what you say afterwards. It would be you defending yourself. So rather than having to defend yourself, it's better you bring the offense at the forefront and say, this is my story. I want you people to decide. If you want me to leave, I will. But I assure you, I didn't do this out of malice. It was an emergency. We didn't know what else to do. We were back to the corner. There's a way you can also tell your story. Like, we were back to the corner and we were desperate. We wanted to survive. We needed to survive. We were desperate, so we had to just do this. And along the way, things became what they are right now. So like, he should have been honest, but instead he left his secrets for other people to use against him. But like I said, the good thing, there was poetic justice, because the man who fought the imperial family and oppressed it, he didn't live long. His son, he was undone from within, actually, because his son conspired against him, conspired against the family, just so that he can, be the only contender for the throne. And then his father died, remaining him, and he too went fighting, and then he now faced the imperial family straight on, like he was going to, like, he wanted to be king, And when that one was trying to say, the land is at peace, why are you? So is that not what you said you were fighting for? The peace of the land? It's at peace right now. So exactly what are you making war for again? And it's like, well, I need to be the emperor because that is when there will be peace. And I'm like, fighting a psychopath is just weird. There are times when you try to understand people, but there are some times when people's actions determine how you treat them and you confront them. So the actions of people determine how you confront them and all of that. I think I wouldn't. He has a good heart. I get it, but the emperor, that is. But I wouldn't want to work with someone like that because they would just put me in danger. That's just the truth. He just ended up putting everybody around him in danger. So that is not really. He's a good guy, but he's not a good person to work with. That's just the truth. Because when somebody is more sympathetic towards an enemy because they like the enemy, like, I think the reason is that he likes them, he appreciates them, he doesn't hate them, I think it's because he has favorites in the family, people that he likes, and he feels like if he goes for the family, it's going to hurt these people that I like. So because it's going to hurt these people that I like, I'm not going to harm the family, that sort of thing. And what he could have just done is handpick the ones that are good, imprison the rest. He doesn't have to kill them. Imprison the rest because he has more than enough grounds to imprison them. Suppressing the imperial family is treason. Like, he's committed treason for, like, I don't know, a very long time. He's committed treason over and over again. Rebelling against an authority and naming yourself as authority is a treasonable offense. Not to mention the many people that he killed. Sometimes all he just have to do is just point the people that this oppressor had destroyed. Just point their families towards him and the job is done. They're not going to just leave the guy alone because they have every reason to want to finish him. But no, he didn't imprison them. He didn't curtail them. He didn't do anything. He could have just, had them confined somewhere. The same way they confined him. Like, I don't know. Like, the same way they confined him, them somewhere as well. Let people feel the taste of their own medicine. If you don't want to finish them, confine them. Okay, you don't want to put them in prison because they have good sides to them. That's fine. Confine them. Take the ones that are nice among them and keep them close but far enough. If that makes sense. Keep them close but far enough, right? As a way to say, if you serve the people well, I'll make sure that your people are safe where they are at, you know. And don't keep secrets. Let them know where their family is, right? So that they don't try to start hunting, where's my family? Let them know where their family is. You get? So, but they cannot go visiting. That's just it. They cannot go visiting. So, whatever the arrangements, just do something. Have the people around you, monitor them. Make sure that they are kept in line and make sure that they are kept in check. While you then begin to unify the empire. That was the plan. Perfect plan right there. But he didn't want to be on that throne. And so he's just looking for someone to dump it on. And because he was desperate to find someone to dump it on, he made a lot of mistakes. He harmed good people, a lot of good people, like so much so that there weren't that many left. Except for one old man that just, like someone called him, he was a fox, a cunning fox, but he was a good cunning fox, right? I don't know how that man does it, but he's smart. He's smart. He was able to outlive. He wasn't willing to just sacrifice himself. I think it's because he knows that, I will do my best to defend his family, but it's up to them. If they don't want to be defended, I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to sacrifice myself unnecessarily, So I guess that is it right there. He was very cool-headed and balanced about his support. And so he's like he was for the people and also for the imperial family as well. Because it was for the people and the imperial family, he became a villain for the sake of the imperial family. And the fact that he knew the secret, and well, that was the problem. He revealed it to someone that he thought was smart. That one then revealed it to another person that wasn't smart. And then, well, things became more intense, as if tension was not bad enough. And then you had a girl who fell in love with a married man. And, well, when she found out the secret, I guess she became our father's blood, or our parents' blood, more like it, rose in her. And it just goes to show that no matter how good a person is, the only person I think was normal among them was the last born, well, one of the guys, but even that one self was trying to be loyal to his father and be loyal to his beliefs as well. So at the end of the day, it was just confusing. It was just confusing. But all in all, I think it's important that we be very picky with our friends. Don't pick a friend, no matter how good they are, or no matter how much you like them. Don't pick a friend because they are good. If their goodness is going to put you in trouble, stay clear them. Let them handle their life the way they want it. If you don't stay clear them, they'll put you in trouble. And you will not even know how you got into trouble. You just find yourself in it and you'll be like, you were planning all this and you didn't tell me. Like, how is it that you got me involved in something and you didn't even tell me? You know what I mean? But like they say, law of retributive justice is law of retributive justice. The guy that manipulated his way, threatened his way, blackmailed a king that he knew does not like bloodshed, and forced him to abdicate the throne. He didn't last there. He only spent 7 years there. And to make matters worse, he was left alone. He was left all by himself. He spent 7 years there in sickness. Of course, he was sick. And they told him that, the only way for him to be cured. And I think that happened because one of the person he harmed, he broke that man's heart. So I think it is very ironic that he caught that man's disease somehow. Yeah, somehow, like that was what happened to him, because it's so close together for me not to see the relationship there. Like, this guy was the strategist of the oppressor, and he didn't have much to live. I think he had a very deteriorating lung disease, and some people in the comments were saying it was tuberculosis. So, I mean, tuberculosis in those days, even now, tuberculosis now is still dangerous. It's just that, they found a solution, but before they could find the solution, it was long. So even in those days in ancient China, I guess there are just some diseases that you couldn't, that were just, you just have to manage. So he didn't have long to live, and they told him the same thing they told the usurper. They told him that if he stayed away from worries, and he stopped stressing himself, that he can live for at least 10 years. He can live for 10 years more. And this guy is a strategist, he's a battle strategist, so he can't avoid worry or stress. So he's like, you know what, I'll try to round this up. And he had a woman that he loved and loved him. And he had a junior, while he was training. He had a junior that was very good with medical medicine, and he was the one that told him that, you can, with the treatment I have, you can last 10 more years. Just don't avoid stress. Just avoid stress and all. Could you believe that the usurper, that is the son of the oppressor, had somebody kill? He had this, he found a way of manipulating this very good sword man, who had mortally harmed him at some point, and the emperor saved him from dying. He now manipulated that guy who almost killed him to go and finish the king. Imagine. It's crazy. In the process, of course, everybody who was around the king wanted to protect him. And so in that process, the lady who was the strategist's girlfriend, or lady, if I may, she started fighting the guy, but she was no match for him. So she became mortally wounded. His doctor too, that was beside the king, also became mortally wounded. So I mean, when a man who is already sick, who has less than 10 years to live, as it were, loses the woman he loves, loses his doctor, like he's left with nothing. And then he now found out that the son of the person he has been strategizing for was behind it. Like, how heartbreaking can it be? Like, it was just, and he told him, he said, when did you become friends with this guy? Oh, by the way, he killed that one too. He finished that one too. I mean, so that one will not talk, So he said, when did you become friends with this guy? Like, this thing you are cutting trouble, So I think it was revenge. Like, of course, he will always remember that man, and he will remember that he speeded up that man's death. Unfortunately, he will remember that, because it was the same thing they told him, like, avoid stress and personal desires. And he's like, how am I supposed to do that? Well, he hasn't even been inaugurated as emperor yet, the usurper, and they're telling him that he has less than 10 years to live. Oh my goodness. And he was left alone. His sister was angry at him, and she left to be with their mom. His wife had practically froze him out, so he was on his own. He was on his own with his obsession to be king over everybody, and he only lived for 7 years. How pathetic. Anyways, I just try to summarize. I know this audio took so long, but try and understand. We're talking about 54 episodes Each episode is about 46 minutes. So this is me compressing a 46 times 46 minutes times 54 into, well, maybe 50 minutes or something. So just, if you're going to watch that story, just prepare to be frustrated in advance, because then, it brings a lot of things to bear, like the opposite of a fatuous king, the opposite of an insecure king. What is the opposite? Is that really the opposite too? Because when you now look at it, you now realize that there has to be a balance. You can't be completely opposite. And the fact that it's based on a true story, a true historical event, is just terrible. Like, apparently there was a guy who just chose to be the masochist there. He didn't, I don't know. It's pathetic. Let's just put it that way. All right, then, I'll just say, guard your hearts diligently, for out of it flows the issues of life. And remember, they that know their God shall be strong, and they shall do exploits. So, let's always check ourselves why we are doing what we are doing, and see to it that we are really doing the right thing, right? And remember, again, weaponize your own secrets by turning it into your story as soon as possible. Like, don't postpone it. The way to turn your secret into your protection rather than your trap is for you to tell it yourself in your own words immediately. Like, don't let the sun go down on it. Once the sun goes down on it, it begins to become a secret. Just tell it, this is what is going on, this is what I've done. If you have to be punished for it, be punished for it, but be done with it. Otherwise, you are just going to put yourself in torture. Then you'll still be punished for it again. After you've gone through all that torture, don't put yourself through that. Okay? Well, I'll just leave your ears alone for now. Until next time, peace.